Hi, Rastafarian here. So today I wanted to make a video on something I've seen pop up a lot recently, mostly on the subreddit, sometimes on the Discord. Um, we're going to be discussing the merits of the two most popular paths and probably objectively the best paths for Kayn in the current meta, which is red into full clear and wolves start. So I already have a video on red into full clear, so this time I'll be starting with wolves, just going through the general path and showing you guys what's up. Um, Excuse me, I'm trying to finish a cup of coffee. I just recently woke up. Um, so basically, I've seen a lot of people when they discuss the wolves paths, starting with wolves and then clearing your bot side and recalling. A lot of people say they only do this on blue form. Um, So I think that this is kind of a closed-minded thought process about it, and pathing itself isn't that binary. There's a lot of different factors that go into which path you should choose at the beginning of the game. The explanations I've seen for this are, obviously, oh, you're on blue side. If you clear wolves in a red side, or you're on the blue team. If you clear wolves in a red side, you can gank bot level 3, contest the enemy gank. If that's the case, you can recall. And it's true that Wolfstar is very versatile in this, but there is a big risk on leaving your blue buff open and showing on the map. Obviously, a lot of people recognize this. I'll go through the path real quick, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more. It might be a little bit longer than my other pathing video, but I think that this is definitely an important topic to discuss. I'm not walling my Qs. I'm just kind of playing it casually, But yeah, so you'll take E, you'll come through here. Hopefully your mid laner hasn't gotten shoved all the way into tower by now. Typically can't happen, but against some matchups like maybe Nunu mid, might be something to consider. But yeah, as I was saying, Wolves very versatile start. You have a lot of options coming off of Wolves start, whereas opposed to like with the red into full clear, it's definitely more of a things can only really play out in a couple different ways based on the enemy jungler's path. My other video I talked about how it's not very good into aggressive junglers, which is true. That is definitely true because you can get contested on your red, or contested on your blue, sorry. And we go W with this path just in case we do end up ganking our bot lane here. Obviously we need W instead of 2 points in Q. So from here, after finishing the wolves clear, you see we're about 245, maybe a little bit earlier. I'll just stop here and talk about the path a little bit after I take a sip of my coffee. So, what you would do from this position, and this isn't necessarily limited to just a blue side decision-making process, is that you would finish your Krugs, and you would look at what is happening here. Because obviously we are in a very good position if this is a neutral or shoved up wave and we have a strong bot lane matchup, i.e. let's see, we're talking about something like Lucian, Tristana, maybe with like Nautilus, Blitzcrank, Thresh into, I don't know, Sona. Maybe Sona's pretty popular right now. Lux support, I know, is definitely making sort of a comeback in the meta. So you have an aggressive matchup here. This is gankable in that case. We can come through and we can gank this. Obviously, if we gank this and the enemy jungler mirrored path, maybe they're starting red, coming down, clearing blue side, we may actually get here faster than them, depending on what jungler it is. Obviously we're not going to beat something like, excuse me, J4 going red, blue, Gromp, level 3, looking for a gank, and then a contest Scuttle. But we would be here at a similar time to contest that gank, roughly. But say it's like, I don't know, say it's Karthus, for instance, semi-popular jungler right now. And he started blue, obviously. He would full clear. So what we would do is we would not gank that in this situation. Because ganking this versus Karthus, if he cleared blue up to red, we would essentially be telling him that he's free to just come in and take this crab and our blue and our Gromp uncontested as soon as we show on the map. And we can't do anything about that. And losing these is a huge tempo loss. We would have to, essentially, we'd have to get a double kill and heavily tax this wave for to even remotely make up for losing those camps. I probably should have finished the coffee before starting this recording, but I'm a little too lazy to do it over, so you'll have to forgive me. So yeah, so we definitely have a lot of options coming off here. Obviously, if this is gankable, and you know we don't think that these will be contested, we can gank this. If the enemy jungler is a slow clearing red buff starter, for instance, maybe something like Rek'Sai goes. You'll have to forgive me. I don't know the exact jungle pass of every champion. I am a one trick. You can make an argument that I should know, but I really don't. Rek'Sai sometimes will go red, Krugs, Raptors, and if we showed on the map as she was walking here, the most logical option for her would just be to turn around and go take our blue buff, because she would just, you know, she'd mass over us. She would see, oh, we have 16 CS. Oh, nobody leashed? Oh, well, he probably started wolves. I'm just going to go take his blue side. And after this gank, whether it fails or not, what we would then do is we would come up and we would begin vertical jungling. So we would come up into his bot side here, and we would take his camps. This would split the map. I'm not really going to go too in-depth into the pros and cons of vertical jungling. I'm sure there's a lot of other videos and people who can describe it better than me. But just know that this can be a good thing. It can also be a bad thing. So we can do that. Beginning to vertical jungle off of a clear like this is also a viable option. Of course, the other option would just be we back after this. And we would have enough money for one longsword. So obviously we would buy our longsword, we would start pathing up. I'm not going to eat through the walls or anything. I'm going to use the extra time to talk. So, excuse me, I'm trying to gather my thoughts. So coming off of the back, we would just go clear these, and then obviously we contest crab. But yeah, so you have a lot of options coming off of wolf clear, like 3 or 4 pretty decent options based on game state. So it definitely has a lot more flexibility than red into full clear. But a lot of that flexibility is going to depend, again, on the lane that you will be ending at, i.e. on red side, you would clear wolves into, you know, looking at top lane. On blue side would be clearing wolves and looking into bot lane. So basically, I just wanted to say this stuff all to sort of get rid of the notion that you only do this path on blue form. I've seen a lot of people say, oh, well, I always only full clear on red form, or oh, I always only wolf start on blue form. And you can't really be thinking of it like that. It's a very binary thought process, and as a jungler, you can't really have that. It makes you very rigid and inflexible, which is, I would say, a bad trait to have as a jungler, definitely. So I just want to encourage more thought process to go into your pathing decisions early game, because it's very important. For instance, I recently did a VOD review of someone, and the top lane matchup, he started red side, he was going blue form. The top lane matchup here was Ghost Darius versus Ignite Flash Swain. And in the VOD review, I explained to him, hey, like, you know, you were up here and you had pressure to gank this lane, and it was a flashless, or not a flashless, a TP-less Swain. If he had ganked this and then began a vertical jungle, because the Rek'Sai was like still around here at the time that he ended his, I believe it was a Rek'Sai. I would have to go back and watch, but we'll say, for instance, it was a Rek'Sai. I know that they were around here when he finished his clear. So if he had ganked this and applied the pressure to the TP-less Swain, right, he can begin vertical jungling pretty much with no pressure, right? He would not be contested by the top lane or the mid laner shoving up here. So it's definitely something to think about, right? Just, because what he did was he just recalled and like went bot and clears camps, which is totally fine. But there needs to be more thought process, because even though we are not an early game jungler on Kayn, there's still always an opportunity to apply pressure if your teammates are going to create it for you. We can't really create that pressure on our own, since Kayn requires gank assist to, you know, be successful in his ganks. But yeah, so maybe just food for thought. Just remember that, you know, we're not going into a game with our pathing decided on what form we're going. we're going in and we're deciding based on lane matchups, who we think is going to have priority, what we believe the enemy jungler is going to do. So hopefully this can serve as, you know, just like a thinking exercise for you guys to, you know, maybe kind of get rid of some what I would consider bad habits and start forming some good ones. So anyway, I stream on Twitch TV at twitch.tv/Rastafarian. It's this name right here, but this A is an I. I know it's a little silly that my names are different, but I'll put a link down below in the description. If you'd like to watch some high elo gameplay or some high elo Kayn gameplay, I'm currently sitting at Grandmaster's 100 LP. I finished last season Grandmaster 241 LP, rank 811 on the ladder. So yeah, I like to think I know what I'm talking about a little bit. So thanks and have a good day.